I'm the cat toy lady. So today's video is an experiment for those of you that have destructive cats at Christmas. I want to see if I can build a cat tree that looks like a Christmas tree that your cat can play on, that actually will hold ornaments they can play with, and it won't come down like a regular Christmas tree will when they climb on it. But the key is I still want it to have that sparkly joy that Christmas trees have. I do have kids and I don't want to take away from their Christmas, but at the same time, I have a cat that's going to take down the Christmas tree. So to let you know what I'm using, instead of cardboard or foam board, this time I am using the plastic corrugated sheets. I had 3 of them that I got at the local hardware store that are 8 feet by 4 feet wide. I am also going to be using a cutting knife, clear plastic tape, and my hot glue. And because this white doesn't work very well for a Christmas tree, I have some really fun sparkly green fabric. And in the next few videos, I'm going to be making toys that your cat can actually play with that double as ornaments for this tree. I didn't feel the need this time to show you all my sketching out everything. Instead, I'm going to show you the final version and let you see the measurements that went along with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start showing you the sheets that I made. This one right here with the Christmas tree, I'm making 2 exact ones of this. You can see my Christmas tree. My first little level right here is 12 inches up, and then I went every 15 inches from there. And these little ledges are 3 inches each. This top section is 18 inches tall. And then you can see on the sides, I have 12-inch squares going up. Then at the top, I have a 26-inch circle, an 18.5, and a 12-inch. Remember, this is going to be doubled because I'm doing 2 of this same sheet. And then on your other sheet, I have 2 36-inch circles and a whole bunch of 12-inch squares. After you get your sheets marked like mine, you're going to go ahead and cut everything out. Okay, I won't lie. That took a really long time, but this is going to be reusable. So I'm going to be able to use this every year if it works out the way I planned. If it doesn't work, then I figure out what went wrong and make a new one for next year. Now before I cover it in the green fabric, I'm going to put all the pieces together like a big puzzle, and I'm going to put my supports in it. I'll show you how I do that. And then I'll take it apart again and cover it in green fabric. So I cut all the way up to that 30-inch mark that I had shown you on the bottom of one and the top of another. And now I'm going to slide those pieces together. Just like that. So on the 3 pairs of smaller circles, not including that big boy back there, I went ahead and put cuts going from 1 inch from each end, going on the bias and against the bias, or known as the seams in it. I put these cuts in it, that way it can slide down onto the Christmas tree. And these cuts are the same width as one of the pieces. And for each pair of the circles, I'm going to go ahead and glue them together with the seams that run behind them going in opposite directions. So this sheet is running up and down, and this sheet is going side to side. I'm going to stack them just like that and glue them together. And I am using my dual tint glue gun on the hot setting. So a hot glue gun. And because it does bend so easily right here, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm only going to glue 1/2 at a time, that way I can have my glue gun as hot as possible and get as much glue to make contact as possible too. So I'm just going to blob it. Big blobs work really well for this type of glue. And then press it down, making sure everything lines up on the inside. And then just press it together till it cools. It might take just a little bit of time with the way this is corrugated. Then rotate it around and do the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue the other 2 pairs together too. Now that they're glued together, I'm going to tape them together with clear tape for extra reinforcement. I'm going to put the tape about every 3 inches around the sides. Tape it on, and then turn it around and wrap it around the back and smooth it out. I'll put another one right here. So on this piece, I'll put 2 per quarter. And then you can see on the big piece, I had to put a whole lot more. And now I'm going to be taping the seams too on the inside. I'm just going to slide a piece of tape on the inside. Press it down all the way, flip it over and pull it tight and press it down again, like this. I'm going to do it on all 8 edges. Now I can put my shelves on and then be able to fit the braces into them. It's starting to come together and look like a Christmas tree. For my supports, I'm actually going to be using bamboo skewers. I found these 3-foot ones at the Dollar Tree, $1. And these I do have at the Dollar Tree too, but I think these came from like my grocery store. So let me show you how I'm going to use the bamboo skewers. I'm going to go from the edge right here. You can see the hole that lines up with it. I'm going to go over 4 holes. And then I'm going to slide the bamboo skewer in. It will be tight. 4. And the bamboo skewer will puncture through the tape and leave a mark on the wall. So I'm going to push it hard and then slide it back just a little. And then you can see where the hole is that it made. I'm going to take my screwdriver and using that same hole, I'm going to push it all the way through to get a hole started for me. Then slide it up and push the skewer all the way in that hole. And then we turn this around where you can see that's coming through the other side. For right now, I don't have to push it all the way in because we're going to be taking the skewer out. I just want to get it started on this side. Then we remove the skewer. And from this direction, lining it up, we're going to put that skewer in again. Basically, we're making an easy path for it to be able to follow for once we have the fabric on here, for it to be able to feed back in. Once you get it fed through, partly to the other side, just retract it back out. And you can kind of see it leaves a permanent mark. I'm going to go around and put the skewer in 4 holes over on each side. I'm going to do it on the top sheet here, and then I'm going to come back and do it underneath the same way in those 4th holes. For the top shelf, I can use my 12-inch skewer, but for the other 2, I need to use that big 3-foot. And again, you're going to slide the skewer in those spots on all 3 levels. Now I'm going to go through, not where the hole is right here, but finding the next section over. I'm going to go through, poking through the tape, and I'm going to slide my skewers in one side and out the other. We are going to end up putting skewers here and here. So basically, this is just making really easy paths for the skewers to be able to follow once you have fabric on. Now that I put the skewers in all the places that were needed to make room, I'm going to go ahead and take it apart and start gluing some of the fabric on. And of course, I'm using my hot glue gun. So to make it as easy as possible, I'm just lying it down on the floor. I'm going to lift up corners of it and glue it down. And then once I get it pretty well glued onto the front of it, I'm going to go ahead and just trim around, leaving about an extra inch on the outside as a trim. That way I can kind of wrap it around. Then I'll flip it over and glue it the same way and just tuck under the edges, kind of like roll them under. That way the seams are pretty well hidden. And don't forget about those seams that you're going to be using to be able to put it back together. You're going to end up cutting those pieces, so you want to glue well along the edges there too. Once you get it cut out and trimmed, you can glue it really well when you wrap the edges around. And then as you can see, I'm just going along the edge and tucking it all down. Pulling it snugly so all the bulges come out of it. Trimming off any extra I don't need. And then at the top, I'm just going to double layer it. at that point where it just sits on top of itself, and then trim off the extra, just like that. So there you go. It's covered on one side, just like that. Now we just cover this side the same way. So now I just flip this back. I'm going to put glue in those same spots. And press down. Don't pull too tight or you won't be able to do the middle. Now I'm going to flip it over so I can see to be able to trim around the edge again. Now go ahead and flip it back over. So what I'm going to do is go along the edge and just tuck it under to where the seams meet up. Then I'm going to run glue all along and press it together. And in the middle, down this seam, I don't have to roll it under. Just press it straight down. So there we go, a nice shiny Christmas tree coated on both sides. I'm going to use the same technique to cover the other part of the Christmas tree and all the circles. But make sure not to do the squares. Before covering the biggest circle with the green fabric, follow these steps. So you can see I laid out where my 5 sets of boxes are going to be, with my little pentagon in the middle. So I can go ahead and move these and show you what's underneath. I did go ahead and tape all around, and I put some dabs of glue in a few spots around. So I know this looks a bit confusing, but if you see there's 3 inches here, then 6 inches, 6 inches, and 3 inches between the center dot. That's where I had put the hole to make my circle. These bigger holes here and here, I am going to use a big screwdriver and poke a hole all the way through. This is how we're going to attach the Christmas tree. So I have it basically divided into quarters using that same dot system. And I'm going to poke my holes. And then for where the boxes are going to sit, I'm going to go 6 inches down and 6 inches from each side, and I'm going to poke 2 holes again so I can line up where the boxes are going to sit underneath. I came down 6 inches and 6 inches from each side, and I'm going to do 2 of those same holes with the screwdriver. And then for 5 of the boxes, for each box, one piece will have 2 holes that will match up, so we can zip tie the boxes to the Christmas tree for extra height and stability. And I haven't figured out if I really am zip tying yet, or if I'm going to use like pipe cleaners to twist it together. We'll see as I get there. All right, there we go. Holes in it all. Now that I have all the holes punched, including on 5 of these sheets, I'm going to go ahead and cover this in the green fabric too, top and bottom. And then these pieces are going to become the lid of my box. It's going to have an open bottom, 4 sides, and the top. It's going to look like this. So you're going to make 5 of these. And don't forget to put those holes on top. There we go. Tape all around, it holds the box together, and the bottom's still open. Now I'm taking my shiny wrapping paper and I'm going to wrap the top of all 5 boxes. Remember to keep that bottom open. And I'm using shiny paper to be able to catch your eye, but don't use glitter. You don't want to be able to get glitter all over your cat. So now the fun of assembling starts. Alright, let's start putting it all together. And remember, it's glitter fabric. It's going to catch on itself just a little as you slide it down. It won't be as smooth as it was before, but just work with it. shimmy it down. I'm going to get all the pieces on and lined up, and then I'm going to put the skewers in. Don't forget about those. Now I'm going to go ahead and search for the spots that I've made for the skewers to go through and slide them right in. The tree is done. I may be sweating and out of breath a bit. Time to start adding the boxes to the base. I'm going to be using glittery pipe cleaners, and then once the boxes are attached, then I will attach the rest of the tree. And then I'll be done. So first I'm feeding the pipe cleaners through the holes that I've already made. They are sharp. You can see on the top here it's flush. And then this will be the inside of the box. I will feed these through the top of the box and then twist it together. And I think just to be able to keep it hidden, I'm going to switch to the green pipe cleaners. I'm going to go ahead and put the pipe cleaner in for all 5 boxes. All 5 are on. Now, lining it up, I'm going to put them right through the 2 holes I already have made. And then I'm just going to twist them together. Nice and snug. Now I'm going to add one of the other colors. And lying it flat on the ground to help you get gravity to be able to pull it tight is going to be the best idea. I'm going to go ahead and put on the other 3 boxes. Now from the underside, I am going to poke my pipe cleaner straight through, facing up. I'm going to be alternating between the gold and the red. I'm going to get all the pieces on here, and then I'll add the tree. I've got them all on. I went ahead and opened them up, that way I could set the Christmas tree down in between them. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm just going to feed it through on one side, give it a twist, and just let them stick up. It's a little something extra for them to play with. But if you have a cat that you think might try to eat it and you're worried about it, just go ahead and cut them off after you twist it together. And then you can tuck the sharp pieces just down into the fabric. I'm going to go ahead and go around the entire base, securing it. Oh my goodness, it was a lot of work, but it's done. It's really sturdy. I think my kids could probably climb this, but I won't let them. And yes, I know it looks really plain right now, but in the next few videos, I'm going to show you how I'm going to be making ornaments to be able to decorate it with that are actually cat toys too. And if you're thinking to yourself, that's maybe a little too much work, I don't want to go through all that, I like my regular tree, go ahead and check out this video. I show how to make shelves inside the cat tree that make the tree a whole lot safer for your cat. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the ornaments that come up next. Now go make your cat some toys.